everyone. This is gonna be a very unexpected video for me. I wasn't even planning on doing this until recently. Nonetheless, I'm kind of nervous and excited anyways, and that is just because I'm gonna be doing my first ever ITALKI lesson in Spanish. A little backstory is that I've been learning Spanish pretty much all my life. In school, you kind of have to take Spanish class. The quality of the class varies, but I started taking it kind of seriously in the past few years. When I first started getting into language learning, I relied heavily on apps. I was an app girl. If you go through my phone, you'll see a lot of different apps that I have regarding language learning. They are definitely helpful, but I feel like they should be more supplemental and something that you should do in addition to immersion. I feel like talking to somebody who is native in the language, or at least speaks the language, is the closest thing you can get if you're not in the country that speaks it or around a lot of people who speak the language. When I was first learning, and up until still recently, I just was too scared. I was like, you know what, let me just keep doing my apps and keep just studying with myself. And then when I came to the realization that like, hey, I really need to put my speaking in practice, I would go on like Tandem, which is still a really good app where you can talk to native language speakers who are trying to learn your native language. When I would be on there, I would mostly just text. Like we would just text all the time, and it really helped with my like reading comprehension and my writing. But again, I wasn't speaking. And then eventually I would get to the point where I would be like, okay guys, let's have a phone call. And then I would get scared and we would just speak in English, and I'd be like, okay, let me just help them with their English. And their English would be amazing because they were fearless. Like they did not really care about making mistakes. They didn't care about how they sounded. They just were like, I'm gonna learn English, so let me just speak. I was always so impressed, and then when it was my turn to speak, I would just get like timid and just not do it. On the bright side, with all this apps and texting and all that stuff, I got really good with reading and writing, and I feel like that's my strongest areas, is reading and writing, because I can take my time to process what's being said, or I can take time to formulate my sentences and stuff like that. But speaking and listening, I'm not that great at because of my lack of practice, and I just avoided it. And it would be stupid because my whole point in learning language in the first place is to speak to people, get to know people, have conversations with strangers and all that stuff. So like it just didn't make sense to me. And like I'm not even afraid of making mistakes and people correcting me. I think it's just like I would freeze and my brain would just stop working. And so yesterday I just booked my first ITALKI lesson. I've never used ITALKI before, but I've had ITALKI on my phone for years. So this is kind of a big deal for me. Like I'm kind of nervous, but also very excited. And the thing that's nice is that these people are here to help you. They're going to be patient, and unlike Tandem where it's kind of like an exchange, we're only here for me, and I don't have to try to help anybody with their English. They're just gonna be here helping me with my Spanish, and there's no way for me to avoid it. I can't cut corners or deflect. It's like, girl, you are going to speak this damn language. So that is what we're doing here today. That's why I wanted to document this and film and tell you my thoughts on ITALKI, if I think it was helpful, if this teacher was helpful, because I definitely want to try different teachers and see how I like it. The good thing about ITALKI is that there's so many different teachers with different prices, as low as $5 an hour to talk to somebody to like $20+ an hour to talk to somebody. So it's pretty affordable. For me, I don't really care to have like an expert teacher. I'm actually trying to avoid doing homework and like PowerPoints and lesson plans and all that stuff. I just want to straight up talk. Like that's how I learn better. Things will really stick in my head if I just talk, make mistakes, get corrected, and listen more. There's no more running away from it. I'm finally doing it. Overall, I'm pretty excited. About a month ago, I posted a language learning update, if you saw that, and I said I was going to take more of a natural approach to language learning. I didn't want to sit down, do flashcards and homework and all that stuff, and I felt like this would be a good way to incorporate it, because although I do like to watch language videos in Spanish, whether they're teaching or just like a vlog and lifestyle type video, I still feel like it would be helpful to have somebody who can see my progression, and I can start putting the things that I'm learning into practice. And even if I don't do anything that week and I'm not consuming content, music, videos and all that stuff, at least I still have this tutoring thing. So if it goes well, I want to do it once a week, maybe even twice a week if I'm feeling it. I'm not gonna make any commitment right now just because I haven't even met the girl yet. So I'll let you know how that works out. My lesson's in like 10 minutes. So yeah, we will check back in afterwards and share my thoughts. So it's 2 minutes after my lesson, so she's a little bit late. Oh, she's here.
Hola, hola.
Hola, soy de Florida. Cuando tenía 6 años, no, ¿cómo se dice gave birth? En julio pasado. Okay, I just want to say I am so freaking proud of myself, guys. I did that thing. I felt like I was kind of nervous a lot throughout the whole experience, but I felt like it was super nice. I really enjoyed it. I liked the teacher. We just really talked the whole time, which is exactly what I wanted. I didn't really want to do a lesson and have a PowerPoint and all that stuff. And it was only in Spanish, except for when I would be like, ¿Cómo se dice? You know, but yeah, it was really good. I felt like we just dumped right into it. I understood literally everything she said. It really gave me a good confidence boost. Like, I was not feeling like I am like, girl, what the heck are you saying? I feel like I need to just nod and pretend. I felt like I expressed myself good enough. My grammar probably wasn't the best, but I definitely got my points across, and like if I said something wrong, she would just correct me, and it was fun. Like, I felt like I also have some humor in Spanish, which is something I didn't know. So yeah, I think I'm gonna book her again. I don't know, just keep going. I only did a trial, like I said, so it was only 30 minutes. The next one will be an hour long, which I feel like I'll have like a lot more practice, because I don't think 30 minutes is enough for me. Like, I am very much in the mood to continue talking to somebody. I feel like an hour would be good. I don't know. It was just a good time. I really enjoyed it. I really am proud of myself. And I feel like if you are learning a language and you have some fear with speaking, then just go for it. Having a tutor is really nice because they're literally just there for you, especially when you have one that really is good at carrying on a conversation and it's just not awkward. She was very open with me also asking questions, which I think was good because, you know, in the real life, you don't want to just only talk about yourself. You want to ask other people different questions as well. So overall, I had a really good experience and I'm really excited for my next lesson. I feel like I'll only continue to get better. I feel like Spanish was one thing that I was definitely slacking in this year so far. And so I think that if I keep up this rate, I might be able to complete my Spanish goal, and then we can talk about it. In case you're not ready yet or you're not interested in ITALKI, by the way, this isn't sponsored by ITALKI. Do I look like I'm sponsored by ITALKI? No. But in case you don't, I feel like there's so many ways that you can get speaking in. For me, what I was doing before I decided to just take a class was I would always speak to myself. Like, whether I'm in the shower, I'm just doing something, I just talk to myself, explain what I'm doing, or even just pick a topic and just talk to myself. And that's a really good way to find vocabulary that I don't know, because I'm talking about things that I would talk about in English or explain what I'm doing in English. Being able to do a quick translation to figure out the word that I need is really helpful, and it helps me a lot because with speaking, I have a problem with translating in my head, and that sucks. Like, I feel like that's a very slippery slope when it comes to language learning, just because if you don't know what a word is in a different language and you're constantly trying to translate back and forth what it means in your target language, find out the word and try to just incorporate it and be like, this might be a bad example because it's a very similar word in Spanish, but like, if this is a computer, right, and in Spanish it's computadora, I'm not gonna be like, okay, this means computer, which means computadora. I'm just gonna be like, yo, this is a computadora. Like, that's it. And I feel like I talked about this in one of my videos, I can't remember, but check out my language learning playlist if you're interested. But just being able to take a word and be like, no, this is what it is in that language is pivotal for me, and it helps so much with not translating in my native language. Like, skip the middleman, pretend your language doesn't even exist, and just associate words with the object and not your native language, if that makes sense. So speaking to myself helps a lot with that, so then I can just be in the flow and be like, okay, I'm in the middle of talking, I don't know what this word is, let me find out what this word is, and then put it into practice. And I felt like that helped me a lot. Memorizing lyrics to songs is really helpful. I don't know a lot, but I feel like it helps make the language sound more natural to me, because for one, in music, people are talking quickly, like it's going super fast. In the past, I had a problem with focusing more on the speed of the language and trying to sound like a native speaker than focusing on what it is that I'm saying. In Spanish, like, they speak pretty fast and I would just be tripping up on my words, and I felt like my mouth was working faster than my brain, and I would just sound kind of stupid because one, I'm not focusing on the content as much. I'm almost like trying to memorize a script and just like try to say as smoothly as possible, and then also it just sounds foreign in my mouth. Like, these words aren't natural to me because I'm not speaking and using them enough. So I feel like learning lyrics to songs and singing it and just getting into it helps a lot with making the language sound more natural in your mouth. So also a really good tip that I highly recommend you guys try. you're killing two birds with one stone. You're reading, you're speaking, and it's comprehension. If you guys are interested in me continuing to do things like this, today we're doing speaking. Maybe I can do something about how I'm reading and how I'm writing and how I'm listening and different tips like that. I can totally do that because I'm very much in my Spanish era right now and I'm really enjoying it. So if you guys are learning a language, let me know what language that is. I would love to know. If this video was helpful, let me know as well. Let me know what other language videos you would like to see from me. Other than that, I think I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.